Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Grand Page. I am your most humble and obedient servant, Page Ghost. Today I want to talk about my history with the Castlevania, I guess we'll say IP, individual property. First off, why do I want to talk about this? Well, it's actually a bit of a preamble to the series. For those of you that don't know, there's a fairly popular Netflix series called Castlevania. It started, oh wow, long time ago. I want to say it's been out almost a decade now, if I'm not mistaken. Could be wrong on that, so don't quote me. But Netflix, long time ago, put out their Castlevania series, and first season, even though really was a kind of a preview season, just to kind of see if people were going to be interested in it. Lot of popularity around it, really well received, both by newcomers and Castlevania video game fans alike. And so that ultimately worked a lot in its favor. That's what ultimately works out best with franchises is you keep old fans while making new ones. That's why the longer franchises go, it gets more and more difficult to do that. What was very surprising is, man, I don't want to shoot my foot. I don't want to shoot myself in the foot too much, but if I'm not mistaken, I think Castlevania was one of, if not the first, well-received not video game adaptation, visual media adaptation from a video game. A lot of times when video games get adapted into movies, TV shows, other things like that, it really doesn't end up going over well. I would argue that's because a movie adaptation of a video game ultimately removes the most important piece of that franchise, and that's the player input, and so you lose that original fan base, and then it's hard to get a new fan base around a video game franchise because you put a lot of Easter eggs and stuff like that into it, and it just doesn't land well. However, Castlevania did a really good job of fleshing out the story and characters while also maintaining that this is based on a video game and we want to put that stuff in there from the video games to keep the fans invested. And the series did a really good job of that. Anyways, all that to say, this video is meant to be a preamble to my next video, or maybe a future video, where I talk about Castlevania the series. Now, talking about my history with Castlevania, I was doing some thinking, and I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, so I didn't grow up on OG Castlevania or anything like that, and I didn't even necessarily grow up on Symphony of the Night. In fact, I think my first experience with Castlevania is probably Order of Ecclesia on Nintendo DS. If I'm remembering right, my time in the military had a 3DS. Obviously, that was DS backwards compatible, and the 3DS Castlevania games were always very well received. I was looking up videos and stuff and reviews and whatnot, and I found that the most well received seemed to be Order of Ecclesia, and so I gave that a shot. I haven't played it in a long time, but I remember playing through it several times, and really enjoying the story. I enjoyed the main character. Oh Lord, I can't remember her name for the life of me. Did I actually enjoy it? No, I really did. I remember the basic premise that she's meant to defeat Dracula. The Belmonts have been out of the picture for decades, if not centuries. And she has this glyph or something, or power that exudes from her back that allows her to absorb these magic glyphs, and then she can summon weapons that she can use, which is really, really cool. And so I really enjoyed Order of Ecclesia, and that was probably my introduction to the series. From there, I started playing sort of the old Castlevania games. I started playing. I got to around to Symphony of the Night, which was fantastic. Of course, I'm not going to say anything new there. Anything great I have to say about it, you all have heard before. Anything I don't have well to say about it, I'm sure you've all heard before as well. But yeah, so Order of Ecclesia was sort of my introduction into the series, and then I started looking into the rest of the series. I know that Castlevania also helped coin the phrase Metroidvania, right? Half that being Metroid, the other half being Castlevania. I grew up playing Metroid, but not Castlevania. And not because I didn't want to, just it somehow missed me. I had a Super Nintendo that was owned by my siblings, and so they played their games, and I got to play their games, but we never got like a Super Nintendo game for me on there. And then I had a PlayStation 2. I never played. I think it was Lament of Innocence that was on PlayStation 2. Probably because a lot of the Castlevania games, once ESRB got involved, a lot of them turned out to be rated M for mature or even teen. And my parents were pretty strict about what video games I got to play and whatnot. Yeah, it really wasn't until my PlayStation 3 and Nintendo 3DS era that I got to play Castlevania. So, played Order of Ecclesia, loved it. And that's probably where on my PS3 I played a bit of Lament of Innocence. I don't think I found it quite engaging, and so I never finished it. Symphony of the Night caught me. I absolutely loved that game. I played through that game several times in a row, trying to get all the different endings and stuff like that. Even, going through the Upside Down Castle, that was a lot of fun. And then expanded from there. I've beaten like the first Castlevania. I've tried playing Simon's Quest, and I can't do that. It's a combination of how old it is, and also like even for back then, it was not a well received game. I'm sure many of you have seen the Angry Video Game Nerd and Ego Raptor talk about that. And I've tried playing several times Dracula's Curse. I love the feel that it has from Castlevania 1, and then it expands on it with like other playable characters and multiple routes and stuff like that. But again, something that everybody talks about. That game is so tough. That is a tough game to play. Still great, but I have yet to actually beat it. And then eventually got around to playing Rondo of Blood and Dracula X. I've beaten both of those. Both of those were a lot of fun. And I think they're fun in their own ways each. I know Rondo of Blood is technically the precursor to Symphony of the Night. But even Dracula X is a lot of fun too. The music in there is really, really good. Also in Rondo of Blood, but I think there's, I don't know what you would say, either more synth or a bit more bass in the Dracula X game. Either way, both fantastic games. It's just that Rondo of Blood is more immediately connected to Symphony of the Night. I've also played Super Castlevania 4 several times over because it's basically a remake of the first Castlevania, and that Super Castlevania 4 really does stand the test of time. It's very accessible. It has good movement, good controls. You could play that today. And in fact, a lot of people have, right? They have the advanced collection on the Switch and other platforms and stuff like that. I played on Switch, and it's a very, very accessible game, especially nowadays. So if nothing else, a recommendation from me. If nothing else, go play Super Castlevania 4. Great introduction to the series. Very easy to play. Yeah, and very, very easy to find too. You just get that Castlevania like Anniversary Collection, I think it's called. You just get that collection. That'll be on there. It's great. It's fantastic. So I played Super Castlevania 4, all of that. Now, when did I actually get introduced to? Okay, so I played Order of Ecclesia before I watched the show. I know that. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure I played that game, and that's what got me into the franchise. And then I found out about the show. Season 1, absolutely fantastic. And then season 2 was a great payoff to the preview that was season 1. I'm not going to go too much into detail here because, like I said, I'm actually finishing up the series for the first time here soon. I'm on the last few episodes of season 4. But just wanted to kind of gush about Castlevania and sort of my history with it. The video games, that idea of Dracula is this recurring villain and that he is dead for a time, but he always comes back. He's in this magical castle that you have to traverse as a character. The lineage of the Belmonts is very fascinating. How, for the most part, every game you play as a different Belmont, right from Trevor to Simon to Victor to who's is it Just that you play as in one of the advanced games. I'm playing a little bit of the advanced collection too. But as time did go on, for some reason I don't know why, except to make it fresh again. For some reason, they started getting away from the Belmonts, which is narratively interesting, but that's hard to create a kind of through line for as far as storytelling is concerned. They just say, "Oh, the Belmonts have been gone for however many years, and someone else has to pick up where they left off." But that idea of, Dracula always comes back. That's very mythical. In that, you can put down evil for a time, but it always comes back. This is the real world. You can enact justice. Good can happen, but and you can put a stop to evil, at least for a time. But at some point, it always comes back, and that's basically sort of the mythical theme that runs through Castlevania. Is Dracula is this recurring villain. He can stay dead for a time, but he can't stay dead forever. It's always very interesting to see the personification of death and how he even takes orders from Dracula. I think that's really cool because most people would consider, death is the ultimate villain, so to speak, in mythological terms, but even he bends his knee to Dracula, and that's really fascinating idea. Just wanted to gush about the video games, talk a little bit about the show, and sort of the mythological aspects of it all, because I'm wrapping up on season 4 right now, and I wanted to be able to talk about that soon. And so here in the future, you'll get my video on the Castlevania series. As always, I am your most humble and obedient servant, Page Ghost.